Well, what's so interesting about Ethereum, it's everything exponential. The only outcome is an exponential rise in price. There's no other outcome. Being is that you'll never ever in your entire life ever again and ever beforehand were given 100x in an asset that's already up 2,000,000% when you look at Bitcoin.
You may end up selling all your Bitcoin.
Yeah, I've been fighting on myself for 2 months. Why not to?
Welcome to Crypto Revolution. In this video, we're going to share what Business Cycle Economist, investment strategist, economic historian, global macro investor, and CEO of Real Vision Group, Raoul has to say about the cryptocurrencies that are taking over the world right now, especially Ethereum and Bitcoin. Ethereum is everything. It's money, it's technology, it's a platform of which people are building a lot of applications, whether it's NFTs, community tokens, and etc. This is just one of his declarations in this interview, which clearly shows he is an ETH bull. He also gets into his predictions of what investing in cryptocurrencies will yield as long-term investments. But more importantly, if you're looking to understand what an expert like him has his money on, watch the full video as he breaks down his investments and shares shocking revelations about what crypto he's looking to sell completely.
Well, what's so interesting about Ethereum, it's everything. You know, I actually bought my first NFT today. And look, everything's priced in.
Congrats. Was it a CryptoPunk?
Wait, you got to tell us more about that, Raoul.
Yeah, it's nothing exciting. I just thought I'd have to do it. We'll come on to that when we talk about NFTs in a bit. But it was priced at 0.75 ETH. Mm-hmm. So ETH is money. And I'd seen that because we commissioned for Real Vision a kind of headquarters in crypto voxels, which we're going to release soon, just for the fun of it. And the architects, we paid in ETH, and the land we paid in ETH. So it's like, okay, well, ETH is clearly money, but ETH is technology. We know that too. ETH is also a platform of which people are building a lot of different applications. So whether we talk about community tokens, NFTs, DeFi, a whole bunch of stuff, DAOs, they're all going to be on ETH. Now, will ETH be the only chain? No. Clearly, people use Solana for stuff, and there'll be a multi-chain world of which there'll be a few giants and a long tail of stuff. And that's pretty normal. But ETH has got really interesting because of this. And then, I came out with a piece in Global Macro Investor last month called The Greatest Trade. And, here's my macro head on again, is okay, we've got this adoption that is kind of exponential, right? It's growing at least twice the rate of Bitcoin. And it's by far dwarfing the rest of the space. Then the EIP 1559 comes along and that reduces the supply. So that's clearly bullish for the price. And then you look at the on-chain analytics and everyone is bloody staking it because now it's a pretty clear run between now and ETH 2.0. So why would you not if you're a long-term holder? So everybody's staking it. So that's taken a ton of stuff off the exchange. There's tons that have gone into just holding, tons that are locked up in DeFi, tons that are locked up in NFTs. And you're left with, I don't know, as of today, 11% of the entire supply of Ethereum available, and it's going down every day. And the demand is going exponential. The only outcome is an exponential rise in price. There's no other outcome. Okay, so a blind chimp can choose a cryptocurrency and get rich. If you look at the size of the assets, the entire crypto space as of today hit 2 trillion again, I think. Global equities are about 200 trillion. Global bonds are like 200 trillion. Global real estate's about 100 trillion. 2 trillion, 200 trillion. I figure that's probably 100x. And we all know, almost all of us realize that all bonds, all securities, all assets are going on chain anyway. So it's probably even bigger than that. But the point being is that you'll never ever in your entire life ever again and ever beforehand were given 100x in an asset that's already up 2 million% when you look at Bitcoin. You've never been given this. And you can basically choose anything and it will go up. My take is the space is going up 100x. And let's say Ethereum is 90% of that space right now, and it ends up being 60% of that space. 60% of a $200 trillion market is a lot more than this. But I think people still think of this as a zero-sum game, and it comes from the early days of adoption, because that's what networks are, these kind of behavioral incentive adoption models that the cryptocurrencies are, which is why they're so powerful. At first, it's like if you don't get adoption, you can see it being fought out in like the Hex community or some of these kind of more kind of risky, not real projects. They're fighting to keep them alive, right? So they fight against other people to get adoption. Ethereum doesn't need to do that any longer, and actually nor does Bitcoin. And one of the reasons that you were alluding to why so many people have started moving across to Ethereum as an investment was actually the Bitcoin community. They kind of screwed it up.
Go into that more.
Because they were too toxic. There are some really smart people in that space, and some people I really respect. Some people who say, listen, my view is I think over time, the monetary element is what I'm interested in, and I think Bitcoin best reflects that. And I think there's an opportunity for it to be a larger part of the global financial system, so I'm going to focus on that. I totally get it. Is there a probability that Bitcoin is money in the end? There is a probability. So I get that path, and that's their macro bet. But there's another group that was like, how dare you look at anything else? It's a shitcoin, it's a scam, we hate you, all of this stuff, right? Which is the same stuff we were just talking about with these others, is they spent too long on a fight that was the past. And they should have said, fine, you guys do that, we're doing this, we'll probably develop some smart contracts in due course, we got the lightning layer, this is all great, look at the space, it's all going up 100x, we're all going to get rich, and we can change the world while we're doing it, and probably solve a lot of inequality. But they did the opposite. And that I think was a huge tactical error, because people in the institutional space don't like to see that. And after that, my Ether allocation started going up. I sold my gold almost immediately around then, maybe just before then. So I was 100% crypto, and I have been for a long time now. I'm now, depending where we are today, 55% ETH, 25% Bitcoin, and then a tail of an equally weighted basket of a mix of DeFi protocols, layer ones, interoperability stuff, and then some specific bets in kind of social tokens, metaverse, and other longer term macro bets that I want to express that view in. And I'm just following the chart very closely of the Bitcoin ETH cross, and I think it's about to explode higher again. So I may end up selling all of my Bitcoin, which is a weird thing. And again, I'm not anti-Bitcoin, but I'll sell that to my ETH.
So you said some things like you're debating with yourself on whether to do that or not. Why wouldn't you do that?
I don't know. And part of it, it's the part of the backlash from doing it. And also I spend a lot of my time speaking to, for no reason than to help the community, is I speak to a lot of institutions, sovereign wealth funds, and everything about adoption, and Bitcoin is the thing. I get my sister-in-law into it, and I get as many people as I can. So it feels disingenuous if I don't own it. I passionately believe in it. So it's a weird thing that as an asset allocation, it's suboptimal. But for the greater good, it's probably the right thing to do. So somewhere between not selling all of it and keeping some of it, so I can still say, obviously, I've still got Bitcoin, but it'll only be 5%. So something like that, I think.
Bitcoin and
my
Ether.
Bitcoin, my price prediction has been ETH north of 20,000.
Wow.
And that's pretty simple. All I did is just map over the ETH chart to the Bitcoin 2017 chart. They work perfectly. And it gives you 20,000. So, there's no great science to that, but it feels about right. I've also mapped the Bitcoin price versus Bitcoin 2013. They look pretty similar. And And there's a bunch of other ways I do it with Bitcoin, with log charts and regression analysis, stuff like that. Generally speaking, I think it's somewhere between 250 to 400,000, with an outside chance of 1 million if we get an extended cycle.
We're talking the end of 2021, or are we talking longer term than that?
End of 2021, March 2022, something like that.
Wow.
Don't forget that they usually go up 5 to 10x in the last 3 months of the year. So, we haven't even got to the all-time high, but let's say Bitcoin goes up, 5x from the 60,000 high. That's 350. That'd be very normal rally for year end, considering we're about to have an ETF. And if I'm right, we might see the central bank pivoting to more printing. They may not print more money this year, but they'll start talking about it. Those two things alone are enough to drive Bitcoin to 350, 5x from here.
You do think we're about to have a Bitcoin ETF then? Gary Gensler's going to
without question. It's probably coming in October.
Fantastic.
Raoul Pal shares the fact that anyone can make gigantic gains from investing in cryptocurrency. More importantly, he breaks down the cryptocurrencies he currently has his eyes on, especially when it comes to his long-term investments. What's surprising is him sharing that he might sell all of his Bitcoin or just keep about 5% of it. Do you agree with his view on Ethereum and Bitcoin? Would you do the same? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. That is it for our video today. If you like this, do like and subscribe to our channel so we can always keep you updated on cryptocurrencies. Till the next video, this is Crypto Revolution.